Every Christmas there is a carol concert on the island of Sodor. The town band plays and lots of people come to sing carols around the Christmas tree. Afterwards there's always a special treat for the children, and this year the Fat Controller wants the party to be an extra special celebration. It was 2 days before Christmas. The Fat Controller was very busy giving orders for everyone, making everything ready for the special night. The engines had been helping with the preparations, and now Henry, Gordon and Thomas were waiting at the station for the Fat Controller to give them their final orders. "You all have jobs to do," he said. "Henry, you are in charge of the cards, letters and parcels. Gordon, you will bring the mayor and the guests. And Thomas, you will have the most important job. I want you to fetch the Christmas tree. Doug will look after Annie and Clarabelle until you get back." Thomas beamed with pride. "Thank you, sir. Will we be able to sing carols too?" The Fat Controller smiled. "We'll see," he promised. Thomas beamed with pride as he puffed away, leaving Henry and Gordon confused and very cross. Word about Thomas's special job spreaded like fire. That night in the shed, Gordon and Henry grumbled dreadfully. "Why should Thomas go?" snorted Henry. "He can't do anything a strong green engine like me couldn't do." "Nor a fast one like me," agreed Gordon. "Anyone would think he was special or something." But Thomas didn't care what they said. He had been picked for the most important job. "Shut up, you're only jealous," he smiled. With that he shut his eyes and went to sleep. The next morning, Thomas set off early to fetch the Christmas tree. It would be nice to sing carols again, he yawned as he puffed out of the shed to his important mission. Soon Thomas arrived at the siding near the sawmill, where the truck with the tree was already waiting for him. He backed down and was coupled up immediately. The Fat Controller had told Thomas to be back by tea time. Come on," he whistled. And when the guard blew his whistle, he puffed off into the cold. But it had been snowing again. Large snowdrifts lay ahead, and Thomas was not wearing his snowplow. But he whistled bravely and tried to make his way through. Then suddenly, "Watch out, Thomas!" shouted his driver, but it was too late. He ran into a snowdrift. Thomas tried to turn his wheels, but it was no good. He was stuck. But it was worse to come. The wind blew more snow onto him. "Help!" shouted Thomas. Thomas was snowed under. Back at the station, it had been snowing too. Everyone worked hard to clear the way for the expected visitors. The engines meanwhile waited for Thomas to come back. It had been a long time. "Perhaps he's stuck in a tunnel somewhere," suggested Gordon. "Pah! He's more likely to have been turned onto the branch line," snorted Henry. Even the twins were concerned. "He could have run into a cow," suggested Donald. "Silence," said the Fat Controller. "We know that Thomas collected the tree safely, but now the snow had brought down the telephone wires. We must assume that Thomas is stranded somewhere on the way." The engines all felt very sorry for poor Thomas. "We're not going to leave them there, are we?" asked Douglas. "Certainly not," said the Fat Controller. "You and Donald will go. I know you two can handle the snow and bring Thomas back home safely." The twins got their snowplows, and the driver and fireman checked each one. Whistling bravely, the two went on to find the missing tank engine and the tree. Donald and Douglas puffed bravely on, but the snow was getting thicker now as they run through the valley. Soon the strain was beginning to tell. Donald wanted to stop for rest, but Douglas wouldn't let him. "What if Thomas is lying hurt somewhere?" he said. Great snowdrifts laid across the line. Again and again, Donald and Douglas forced their snowplows into the deep snow, and each time they managed to move slowly forward. Soon they came to a drift that was bigger than the rest. They paused for a second. "Help!" "What's that?" hissed Douglas. "I heard something." "Help!" "Probably the wind," insisted Donald. "No, listen," said Douglas. "Help! Over here!" "Ugh, it's Thomas!" they cried together. "Come on," said Douglas. "Let's get him out. He must be frozen to his frames in there." The men began to dig the snow away. Thomas's driver and fireman, who had taken shelter in a nearby cottage, came to help out too. It was no long before they had dug Thomas and the missing Christmas tree out of the snow. Thomas was feeling cold and miserable. The twins coupled up in front and behind him, and together they set off on their journey home. It was already late when the engines arrived at the station. Everyone gave Thomas such a warm welcome that he began to feel quite cheerful again. The Christmas tree was quickly unloaded, put into its tube and decorated for the carol concert. Everyone had to work very quick, but they managed in the end. After that, the Fat Controller stood in front of the engines. As a reward for all your hard work, you may go and enjoy the carols. Everyone was very excited. Even James, who was letting off steam because he was so pleased. The Fat Controller paused. "Kindly remember that this is a special occasion. Be on your best behavior and I want no wishing, please." Soon everyone was in their place for the concert. 1, 2, 3, boomed the Fat Controller. And suddenly, as if by magic, the station was flooded with lights. And there was the Christmas tree, decorated with colored lamps, stars and lights. "Ladies, gentlemen and children, I give you 3 cheers for Thomas the Tank Engine and all his friends who had made this occasion possible." Everyone clapped and cheered. The engines were delighted. James was so excited that he let out a great whoosh. Everyone laughed, and even the Fat Controller didn't seem to mind. Suddenly there was a strange whirling noise, and there, with his landing lights shining, was Harold the helicopter. He landed at the station, and out stepped a figure wearing a red cloak. Everyone cheered. It was Father Christmas. He handed out presents to all the children and thanked the engines for rescuing Thomas and saving the missing Christmas tree. "Happy Christmas, Thomas, and to all your friends," he said. After the celebration, Thomas and Percy went back to the sheds together. "It's no fun getting stuck in the snow," whispered Thomas to Percy, "but it was worth it for the party. Happy Christmas, Percy. Happy Christmas, everyone."